Now, before I get started on this one, I am fully aware of the age gap. And yes, it is really weird. It is weird. I get that. Believe me, I have read the whole damn thing. I know how weird the age gap is. I know how weird the story is. I just wanted to tell you about it because I hate it. Let's get started. I have been gaslit in my life before. And sometimes they're not that big of a deal. But going through this goddamn emotional roller coaster of a manhwa to then have the mangaka smack me in the face and tell me they didn't mean it with a smile, I think they deserve what I have to say about this one. I tamed my ex-husband's mad dog. Let's start with Reinhardt. Reinhardt is down on her luck. Her father is murdered during a senseless war he has to go to, but he is way too old to join. She begs the gods for a chance to kill her husband, who forced her father to go into the senseless war. Once reincarnated, Reinhardt takes the chance to stab the prince, where she is immediately exiled. I think she should have been killed, but they exile her instead. She, of course, runs into our main boy, Willem, whom, in his decrepit state and starving, he saves Reinhardt from a frost beast. Yes, it's frost because they're in the snow. Now, at this time, Willem is 16, and I think Reinhardt is anywhere between like 18 to 20. So that's like the weird age gap. It's quite weird. Yeah. She immediately recognizes Willem and remembers what a beast he was for her ex-husband, his dog, if you will, right? The point of the story. So Reinhardt immediately has the idea to take him for her own game. Reinhardt and Willem arrive at her family's castle in the snowy mountains. Oh, I should mention, Willem is a mute at this time and has a much smaller frame, so he looks like a child, which is why it's kind of weird, other than the age thing. Reinhardt takes reign of her castle and begins taking care of Willem, teaching him right from wrong, almost kind of babying him. Again, that's kind of why it's weird. I'm going to say this a lot until he gets older. Kind of weird. But don't forget, there's got to be a childhood friend, Dietrich, who also has a secret crush on Reinhardt, because why wouldn't he? Dietrich agrees to teach Willem the way of the sword, because he kind of already knows what Reinhardt's plan is. See, Dietrich isn't that stupid. He knows that even though this was the prince's old dog, he's not dumb and discovers Reinhardt will use Willem as a weapon. Dietrich begins training with Willem and does so just ever so cruelly, but kind of treats him like a little brother would, right? Telling him that, like, if he wants Reinhardt to himself, he's got to grow big and strong and fight off Dietrich to get past him. Not the smartest thing to say. So some time has passed, and hey, Reinhardt's people are being called to war. And who else to go but Willem and Dietrich? They leave and are gone for a couple years, where it's said Willem is doing exceptionally well and is killing all the snow beasts with ease. Oh, but my dear friends, it wouldn't be so simple, now would it? When they arrive back, successful, only Willem returns. Reinhardt's heart breaks, and she misses Dietrich like crazy. That's her childhood friend. It was her only surviving friend she had after her dad had died. But Willem has a plan, everyone. He tells Reinhardt that now is the time for her revenge on the prince. He's killed her father by sending him to a war, and Dietrich by sending him off to a war. It's all the prince's fault. It's not all the prince. It's not, you guys, it's not just the prince's fault this time. You know, I think this is where the gaslighting starts. Reinhardt really didn't need encouragement to kill this man. She was going to do it regardless. And Willem offers to kill him for her. Yeah, they were truly meant to be together. I think that's just what it is. They were just meant to be together. Willem is honored before the king and queen for being a war hero. And the prince is disgusted that Reinhardt and his ex-pet are in his face, alive. But there's a peculiar rumor going around that everyone is talking about around the castle. And I mean, we should know what it is. Willem is the bastard of the king. He's the bastard son. Yes. If you didn't know, or if you haven't seen this coming in every other freaking fantasy book or movie or TV show, like Game of Thrones, there's always that predictable surprise king or surprise lineage somewhere in there. So yes, Willem is the son of the king. So let's put this in reverse a little bit. Reinhardt stabbed the prince earlier. Okay. Well, when she stabbed him in the leg, right? So now he's unable to walk normally. He walks with a little limp and a cane. Okay. So now to present day. I just want to make you aware of that. The king has a strong son who can walk and is now a war hero. So of course he wants him to become legitimized, to become the next king to the throne. Right. You don't have a son. It doesn't matter. It does. Right. But our prince isn't hearing any of it. But that does not matter because our main boy and our main girl here, they're on a mission. I really don't remember how they killed him. I know some kind of like trick where the prince's girl fell in love with like Willem, and then Willem tricked her to poison him, and then she got caught in the cell. I think that's what it was. If not, cut that. I don't remember what it was. Willem did some weird shit and killed the prince and brought his body to his room to present to Reinhardt, who then takes her father's sword that Willem has. Willem has her father's sword. Takes her father's sword and stabs his dead body. He's already dead, guys. He's dead. But she's just stabbing. That doesn't look like stabbing. She's stabbing him over and over again, like the crazy bitch she is. And I know what you're thinking. Aisha, really? That's not that big of a deal. I would want revenge too. And oh, trigger warning, guys. Since you don't think it's that bad, they had sex for the first time, covered in that man's blood, with his dead body still in the room, stankin'. That's not revenge, it's crazy. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. The smell of iron and decay would be enough to make me vomit. But now I have to have my coochie be wet and stay wet for the entire duration of sex. And then this fucking mangaka thought I would forget that they were fucking while bloody. And the next panel, there's no blood. Listen to me, you little bitch. I'm not stupid. I don't forget what they did. I am not getting turned on by this. I am scared and I'm calling my mom. Okay? Willem becomes the prince. He becomes the prince. And is now learning about the ins and outs of princehood and becoming the king eventually at some point. But who cares about any of that? Because y'all, Dietrich is alive, baby. He's alive. Okay? Oh, how is he alive? Well, our dog here set him up. Are you surprised? I'm not. Well, you shouldn't be, because he's a big old piece of shit and don't have any sort of bad feelings for him. He is crazy. Someone from Reinhardt's castle recognizes him and tells Reinhardt, who summons this man immediately after finding out it might be him. It is Dietrich. It is. And his new wife, who saved him after being attacked by the frost beasts. Reinhardt is confused because William had told her that Dietrich died. Reinhardt starts putting two and two together that William lied and potentially set up Dietrich. But a pregnant Reinhardt had to find out. You haven't guessed. Yes, is what he did. So Reinhardt is pregnant, and she hates this baby because it's William's baby. A traitor mutt that, mind you, she created. She knew how fucked up he was in the head, and she egged him on to do all these things. There are moments when she wants to kill the baby and prays for a miscarriage, but she does end up having a very adorable little boy. I feel the worst for the boy because he truly doesn't deserve his mother's hate and leaves him to be raised by the maids and Dietrich. Willem requests for his 4-year-old son to live with him so he can learn the ways of the kingdom, similar to what happened to Willem, right? He wants to take him, build him up like his father did for him. It is his real father. I'm just saying father because whatever. Reinhardt happily hands over her son because she hates him without really any thought. But this, of course, is a perfect way for Willem to see Reinhardt, and he does. I'm not sure if this is the interaction or a different one, but Willem does take Reinhardt and he rapes her. Because Willem reveals that he set up Dietrich because he knew the frost monsters were going to attack that specific camp that Dietrich was at. Fast forward. They have a daughter. Now, in case you were wondering, there is a war happening near Reinhardt's kingdom, and Willem comes in to save the day and makes a plan to slaughter the frost monsters once and for all. This is it. They're done. Mind you, Willem has no idea about his daughter It was probably about like 2 or 3 at this point. But don't worry. If you were concerned if Reinhardt is treating her daughter like shit, no. But when she sees her son again, she feels guilty as fuck. And she should. Willem really wants to talk to Reinhardt about everything. Their past, the war. But Reinhardt is trying to avoid him. But their daughter runs in, looking like a mix between her two parents. Willem immediately peeps and can't believe that Reinhardt hid this from him. And really, I'm not condoning either of them because they're both pieces of shit. I don't care. I just don't care anymore by this point. Willem is enraged and goes directly into the front lines without telling anyone, of course, because this will always solve their problems. Sadly, he does survive. And we get the most unsurprising reveal ever. Again, that Willem was also reincarnated at the same time as Reinhardt. And has always been in love with Reinhardt, even in his last life. And I rolled my eyes the biggest way that I could because, what? He asked this mystical dragon to give them a new life where they could be together. Well, it turns out Willem wants to go back to this dragon that he killed in his past life for his wish to come true, to now kill him permanently and wipe away his existence. Which, you selfish bastard, would probably wipe away your children. Somebody call CPS, please. Reinhardt chases after him and finds him about to kill himself or something like that. I don't really fucking remember. And them crying and embracing and apologizing to each other made me want to throw up in my mouth a little. I'm really so annoyed. Y'all both could have died. I mean, please. It would have really been better off for your children. But they survive and they make their way back to the camp, decide to live happily ever after. Mind you guys, now there are side chapters and Dietrich and his wife have children and Dietrich gets his memory back. And honestly, this is the only one that makes this story better and the only relationship that's honestly believable. And when Dietrich gets his memory back, he is then pissed at Willem for all that he's did and setting him up at the camp because he knew about it, mind you. But I think the biggest fucking slap in the face is Willem and Reinhardt's side story, who is informing the reader that they have loved each other always and will be together forever, telling their kids this and thinking we forgot how irresponsible and unloving these fucking parents have been for the last 100 plus chapters. The mangaka is gaslighting us. Me mainly because I read it. Have you not been listening? They murdered the prince, had sex with blood all over them, tried to kill a childhood friend, hated each other, raped, hated their kids, neglected them, were willing to forget their whole existence for the sake of what they call love. Let me tell you something. I will beat your ass. Don't play in my face like the things I didn't just list didn't happen. You can't brainwash me. I got this big ass noggin for a reason. This story had an interesting start, but everything went fully downhill when they met Willem. And I think that was like chapter 3. Nothing was the same after that, and you're not going to get me to feel bad for them because they are both shitty people. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay to kill off the main character, and I wish that would have happened. But my dumbass completionist mentality forced me to finish this, so now you have to hear me complain. Don't read this, because if you want to be gaslit and screaming at your phone every other chapter, just put it down, like I didn't do. Yeah, I didn't do that. That's my thoughts on I Tamed My Ex-Husband's Dog. I just wish I didn't finish it. And I finished the side stories, which I think made it even worse. But thank you guys so much for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. Hey, you clicked on the video and you're all the way to the end, so thank you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Don't gaslit, or we will fight. And as always, stay slutty, my friends.